Hello and welcome to eLagan Whiteboard Friday. Today we will look at something called what is a founder's vesting. So this is also called reverse vesting in many ways. But let's first focus more on what is a founder's vesting. So typically when founders incorporate the company, they own a substantial stake in the company. So for example, if you are a two-founder company, then probably you would be owning 50-50 or a 60-40 kind of a ratio. Uh, so what happens? You have paid just the face value to acquire these shares, right? So say probably few thousand or few lakhs rupees. And as the company grows, and suppose tomorrow if there is an exit by one of the founders, then they would continue to hold this large chunk of shares and go. So basically, what will happen is you are trying to build a startup for which a majority stake or a substantial stake is owned by somebody who is no more contributing to the growth or success of the company. So that's why typically, even when although you are already holding the shares of the company, you still have to go through something called a vesting period. Now, this becomes much more critical when investors come on board. So then they would make sure that you have a defined vesting schedule before they would actually put in the money. So let's look at an example. Say you started a company. Two people started a company. You went on for say almost about 1.5 years, and then you are trying to raise the money. Now you already had a vesting schedule right from day one, but the investors may ask that this schedule gets started again from today or from the date when he is putting up the money, or it could be a much more longer. So say you agreed for a 4-year vesting initially. Already 1.5 years has gone by, but the investor may ask, from this date another 5 years you'll have to. So it's kind of a founder's lock-in, and so one is like they would ask you to stay with the company for next 5 years to 6 years. And second is they could increase the vesting schedule. Now the lock-in and vestings could be two different periods. So based on what stage of the company you are in, or how much the investors feel it is critical to stick to the founders with a vesting schedule kind of a thing. That means, like if vesting of shares is critical for founders stay, or they believe that the founders will continue longer as well. So, so that's what is like you have to go through a vesting schedule. So even if you started from day one, after 1.5 years or 2 years, whenever you are raising money, the investors could ask you to go further with a longer vesting schedule. Now, what happens? This is kind of generally a time-based vesting schedule, but many times it could also be a combination of time plus milestone. So, suppose if you achieve certain milestone, they would say, okay, you get more shares on this milestone and certain amount of shares on this milestone kind of thing. Now, since the shares are your property, like you already own them, but there are documentations created where this schedule is mentioned and everybody agrees to it. Now, many times as the company continues to grow bigger, there is something called an escrow account. Now, what is this? Now, basically, you take an escrow account and put all the shares of all the founders, which are unvested, especially with the escrow account, so that they have a control on the physical shares of the company. And tomorrow, during exit, if the founder is not agreeing a lot, then they would do it. So all the unvested shares of the company would continue to be held in the escrow account, so that during exit, if the founder is not cooperating well, then they still have a control over the physical shares of the company. So that's what an escrow account is. It is opened at a cost. There are escrow service providers available who offers you this service. So you can use it again depending on the stage of the company. You may look at choosing whether this cost makes sense or not, or whatever, or what is the investors are really looking forward to it. The next thing comes is what if you get terminated? So there could be incidents where a founder could be terminated or they are exiting, as I said, right? Now, the first scenario could be say with cause. So if the founder has done any misconduct or there has been any big incident which has unfavorably impacted the company heavily, the board or all the shareholders could decide that this founder should be moved out. So that is with cause. So during with cause scenarios, what happens again, it depends on what you have agreed on. So there could be broadly two kinds of scenarios that you could look at. One, you can continue to hold whatever has been vested to you, and the unvested goes back to the company or to the continuing founders. That's a different discussion. The bigger scenario typically with cause is like they even ask that you don't get even a single share of the company. So even the ones which has been vested may go back to the company. This is just a precautionary measure so as to discourage the founders that they don't get into any misconduct or anything where they might have to be fired. And then, so it is more of a stick kind of a thing. The second scenario is like, yes, either the founder is just like, either you don't believe that it is working out, you want to exit, or the board voluntarily decides that you should be terminated. So if it is not with a cause, that is without a cause, then in most of the scenario you are allowed to keep your vested shares and the unvested goes back to the pool or whatever has been agreed on. The third condition comes is in case if there is any permanent disability where you are no more able to contribute to the company or there is a death of a founder. So in that scenario, again, how do you handle has to be looked at. So mostly the standard way people take it is again the vested shares goes to you and the unvested share goes back to the pool. It's kind of treated as a dismissal without cause kind of a scenario, but there could be additional thing like if they feel like okay, we'll give you the complete share vested or unvested, either way, just because this unfortunate incident has happened or whatever. So that could also be another scenario where you could look at it. So the next thing is an accelerated vesting. Now, what is an accelerated vesting? Now, as I said, like typically you are on a vesting, say for example, you are on a 5 or 6 year vesting period. Now, after 2 years, 3 years, the company gets an offer for acquisition or a merger. Now, during this scenario, there could be a condition which triggers accelerated vesting. So for example, it was a 6 year vesting, and after 3 years, you got an acquisition offer. So technically, you have just vested 50% of your shares, and the balance are unvested. So basically, in accelerated vesting, what happens just before the merger or acquisition happens, all the shares get vested. So that's called accelerated. So you don't have to wait for 6 years. So all your shares could be vested, or it could be like 1.5x of your shares could be vested. That means the vested shares gets increased by another 50% or so. And this could also be applicable to the employees also. So this could be like multiple scenarios are possible in accelerated vesting. But this is one of the most common factor where, or if you are going for an IPO unexpectedly, you are doing it much before time or anything, then there could be an accelerated vesting that could happen. So typically, yes, accelerated vesting in the event of a merger or acquisition, that's where you try to use that or trigger it so that all the founders get benefited, and if whatever is the acquisition price, so whatever all your unvested shares also become vested, and then you get benefit of that. That's it on founders vesting today. If you have any queries, feel free to drop us an email at hello@dlagan.com. We have also open sourced a lot of legal documents for startups, so feel free to just visit dlagan.com and download your set of legal docs from there for free. Thank you.